Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Aileen Wuornos, I think I say that right, American Boogeywoman. So it seems like they're coming out with, you know, a series of these, and I didn't know that. We watched the Ted Bundy one, right, with Chad Michael Murray. That was actually pretty unsettling, but interesting nonetheless. So I'm definitely going to watch this one. This one is Peyton List instead of Chad Michael Murray, and it's about the most notorious female serial killer. But here's the thing, probably most of you, like I didn't realize the name, but it sounded like Monster. So Charlize Theron played this same serial killer, but like in the heat of things. Like I think it happened, like that happened in like 89, 90 or something like that is when I think that movie takes place in that part of this girl's life. But this is from 1976 on, when she first arrives in Florida and marries a wealthy yacht owner or something like that and has a chance to be part of like a high society. I only knew her as what the other movie showed, as she was a prostitute and just killing people. But this is the time before it, so it's almost like a prequel. So I'm crazily interested. It's an hour and 25 minutes long, so very short. I had 4.3 on IMDb, but only 78 people have rated it so far. So I don't know. Like the first one was the first part of this series, the American Boogeyman, Ted Bundy, right? That's what it was. That was pretty wild. So we'll see what this one's about. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Aileen Wuornos, American Boogeyman. No check-ins. I just got lost, I think, in watching the movie. So it takes us back, like I said, to 1976, prior to, you know, what she went to ultimately to the death row for. And there's a piece where she marries a very rich commodore of a yacht club. And I mentioned that too, and that seems to be, you know, the true piece that they went back. This all starts off by a guy going in to interview her the day before she's going to be executed and asks her to tell a story that nobody else knows. And so now this is her telling that story. So they flash back to this point in her life and introduce Peyton List as her, and you know, goes through the whole piece on how she met the guy, what happened, and all that kind of stuff. Now, as I watched the film, I wondered to myself, how much of this is really true? You know, like in two different ways. How much is what she's saying really true? You know, can we find facts of it on Wikipedia? And how much are they over-dramatizing it as well? So, you know, is she telling the truth? Are they over-dramatizing? Well, I can tell you it's very, very over-dramatized. It almost seems, you know, I get it. I get what they were doing, but they gave it way too much. You know, too much detail. It made it more like just, you know, when I was coming away from it, it's more like a movie. You know what I mean? Like that just is made up. It's not like a movie about a person that is factual. I don't know if that makes any sense. It just seems like they went way down a rabbit hole in order to create this story behind what she had said. Anyway, so I won't go into too much detail about that. I thought Peyton List, I thought she did okay. I mean, you have to remember she's doing a younger version, and so, but you could see it. And now the lady, the older version, who's telling the story, I think she did a good job. I mean, not Charlize Theron good, but pretty close. And she only had some small parts, but I thought she was pretty interesting. But otherwise, you know, in the end, I was disappointed how overly fairy tale-y it was. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Only an hour and 25 minutes. So I'm going to say this right now. It's hard for me to go into too much detail. So at this point, I'm going to give a little bit of spoilers. You know, so I'm about a 4 or 5 for those of you who aren't sticking around to hear what I'm going to say next. Again, I don't think it's a spoiler alert. I think, but I want to protect it, just in case. If you're really like, oh, I want to see this, go ahead and disconnect now. Check it out if you want. But I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about it, and I don't want you to hear it possibly. So spoiler alert, go ahead and, do all that jazz. If you're stuck around, last warning, spoiler alert. Okay, so here's the thing. So I went into this movie and I'm thinking this is all based, this is a prequel to what we all know and know about, and the other movies. And so I was like excited to see what happened. And what I come to find out is the only thing really true in this whole hour and 25 minutes was the fact that she was married to a commodore of a yacht club for 9 weeks. I think the rest of this is just made up. Whether she even told the story in prison and made that piece up and they elaborated it into this film, or if even that piece was made up. I think it was all just made up based on that one fact so that they can create this movie. And that is why I'm ultimately really, really disappointed. I thought it was all based on true events. Outside of that one fact, I thought all of it was true, and I get it, some of it's going to be over-dramatized, but I really don't think it was. Nothing that I could find leads me to that. So that's why I didn't really enjoy this movie at all. Once I started to see how over-dramatized it was, it made me really want to think about it and look it up. So if you want to look at a fairy tale, about one piece of interesting fact that gets blown out of proportion for an hour and 25 minutes, check it out. Because I think that's all it is. I could be wrong. But thank you if you stuck around. I just wanted to, share that with you. My daughter's now here interrupting me, so I gotta go. If you haven't already, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.